Why am I Pinkie Pie? Part 3. Now, where was I? Oh, right. Still on my way to the library. If it seems that like it's aching forever for me to get to the part where I got to the library, then trust me, it seemed like a lot longer to me. Okay.
Whoa. Let me just stop you right there. Fourth wall break already?
This whole thing's a fourth wall break.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
You got a point, but... Continue.
Okay. I was at Sugar Cube Corner, and I kinda sorta knew what direction to go to the library, since Snip said pointed me the way. I started walking, keeping my head down, pretending like I was deep in thought or something. Well, I didn't have to pretend too hard because I really was in deep thought. I mean, it occurred to me that it might be harder than I thought to convince people that I was really a human who had somehow gotten zapped into Pinkie's body. Because pretty much any general weirdness I did would have people going, oh, she's just being Pinkie Pie. Maybe you should test that theory out, the little voice in my head suggested. Well, what the heck? It's not like I had anything better to do, right? It would mean that I got a lot of attention. Well, what the heck? I was getting desperate. If I couldn't convince any pony, I'd be stuck here forever.
I have another question. Sorry to interject.
Yes.
Why would she trust snails?
Because he's desperate for. He was desperate to get information on whether or not Hasbro got the names all correct.
Yeah, that was that joke.
But I mean, come on, really?
Look, he's just got trapped in Piggy's body. What do you think? Do you think he's gonna be thinking straight? I don't think so. He's just gonna go for the.
You don't have to be thinking like.
Well, he has snips, not snails, anyway.
Oh.
Slightly better.
Okay.
I guess. Not that much better.
So I got up on a nearby rain barrel. Pinkie probably could have just bounced on the top of it, but I had to clamber up into it awkwardly. When I made it up there, I looked around and saw that I was near a marketplace, and there were ponies all over, mostly shopping, but there were still a few sitting outside at a cafe eating and talking. This place was perfect for a little test of my theory. I stood up on my hind legs, wobbling more than a little bit, filled my lungs up, and then shouted,
Every pony, can I have your attention, please? This is really superifically important.
All the ponies within earshot looked at me, some of them with curiosity, and others with an, oh great, here we go again, a kind of expression. I ignored all that and continued on.
Now that I have your attention, I am not Pinkie Pie. I may look like her, but I'm really an alien who got stuck inside her brain.
Dun, dun, dun.
Reactions were mixed. Some ponies rolled their eyes, others laughed, and some just shrugged. But every single one of them just went on with their business as if nothing had happened. Every single one. Well, except one.
God.
It was Lyra, I bet you.
Well, that explains a lot.
A pony that may or may not have been named Bonbon said, rolling her eyes.
I really mean it,
I shouted, ignoring her.
I'm not Pinkie Pie. I'm actually
An embarrassment is what you are, another voice said. And I looked around to see a frowning Applejack looking at me. Now get down from there and stop all this fooling around. I got apples to sell. I hopped, or rather face planted off to the rain barrel, and an embarrassing looking AJ helped me up to my hooves.
Applejack, you gotta believe me,
I said to her, after spitting out a mouthful of dirt.
I really have been taken over by an alien.
Wait, why did I put it that way?
I mean, I really am an alien who's taken over Pinkie Pie.
Ugh. That made it sound like I did it on purpose. And probably for evil reasons.
I mean, I was a normal alien who all of a sudden got stuck in Pinkie Pie's body for no good reason, and I want to go back.
Applejack just looked at me dubiously. Don't know. You seem like the same old Pinkie Pie, she said. In any case, you're scaring off customers, so why don't you go play and be an alien somewhere else? I sighed, dejected. If the element of honesty herself didn't believe me, well, it made me pretty sad. I moped my way to the marketplace, convinced that my theory was correct, that there probably wasn't anything that I could do that would be too crazy for ponies to be able to pass off as me just being Pinkie Pie. Then a couple of realizations hit me all at once. First, holy cow, I just met Applejack! That's so cool! Of course, she just scolded me. But still, fanboy squeal time. Second was, did I just say superifically? The second one really just scared me. I've never said superifically ever before in my life. It's not even a word.
He's becoming Pinkie Pie. Or Dr. Seuss.
Yes. I mean, I used to make up words sometimes, but that was when I was a little kid. Little kids don't really know how language works, right? So they make up words that kind of sort of seem to follow the rules, but aren't really words. And they'll make adverbs up like nobody's business. I mean, this one time I said bigly, and my mum thought it was the funniest thing ever. She told everyone about that, so that it was bigly. This was bigly for like a month. Heck, my own aunt even put on my birthday card once later. She wrote I had gotten you a biglier one. But this was the bigliest they had. I mean, I made up the word because it limited vocabulary. There, because of my limited vocabulary, and here they were making fun of me for it, and she didn't even use it right. Bigly was an adverb, not an adjective, as in the balloon got blown up bigly, not it was a bigly balloon. Man, that was the worst birthday party ever. I didn't even get the right Transformers.
Not all the Decepticons.
They got me some weird cheap knockoffs. I mean, a transforming robot, not quite Volkswagen bug named Buddy Bee.
That sounds like a
GoBot.
A GoBot. I was just about to say that.
What kind of insanity is that? I mean, I tried to be cool about it and play with it anyways, as if it were some kind of soul-crushing disappointment. But the first time I transformed the stupid thing, its head fell off. Maybe I could have made up for it by throwing myself another party while I was here. Wouldn't that be cool? I could... Oh. Okay, sorry. Went off on another tangent, didn't I?
Yep.
What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, the marketplace. I think that was the first time that it seriously occurred to me that Pinkie Pie's brain might have had some influence on me. Which, great. If I'm not just stuck in Pinkie Pie's body, but I'm actually turning into her, then that means that on the top of everything else, I'm also working against the clock, which was just wonderful.
Right.
Anyway, my test proved one thing for sure. If I wasn't going to convince Twilight Sparkle, then I really wasn't... If I wasn't to convince Twilight that I really, really wasn't Pinkie Pie, that meant that I had to pull off out of the tops. I had to pull off all the stops. I'd have to do something completely so un-Pinkie Pie that she'd had to no choice but to believe that I wasn't her. Wait, I mean, no. Fuck, I said it wrong. I'd have to do something completely so un-Pinkie Pie that she had no choice but to believe that I wasn't me. Wait, I mean, no choice but to believe that I wasn't her. Ugh! You see the kind of things that I'm dealing with here? Anyways, it was in that state of mind that I went moping through Ponyville, looking again for the silly tree library that Twilight stayed in. It was hard to even get excited now because I was half convinced that she wouldn't believe me no matter what I did. I was so mopey about it, in fact, that I completely walked past Rainbow Dash without even noticing her. I wouldn't have kept going, but it's totally not in Dash's nature to let me just blow her off like that. "Hey!" she said, right next to me, which startled me pretty good. I think I cleared about 3 feet of the air when I jumped in surprise. "You're just gonna ignore me?"
"Oh my gosh, it's Rainbow Dash!"
I said excitedly, pointing at her with my hoof. She looked at me blankly for a second, then rolled her eyes. "Oh my gosh, it's Pinkie Pie!" she said dryly. "Anyway, I thought we were going to be pranking today. Don't tell me you forgot. You've been bugging me all week about it."
"I didn't forget,"
I said, which was technically true.
"And I'm not Pinkie Pie. I'm an alien creature called a human that got sucked into her head somehow, and I'm trying to figure out how to get home."
The silence. It was profound. "Okay," Dash said, eventually giving me a weird look. "I gotta say, I don't know what your angle is on this one. Are you actually trying to prank me?"
No, it's really true,"
I said.
"I'm an alien."
She just stared at me for a minute, and then grinned.
"Oh, that's brilliant. We'll be alien invaders. Wait right here. I'm gonna go get some costumes."
And with that, she shot up into the air and vanished. I stood there, choking on the dust she'd kicked up for a little while, and then I stomped my hooves in frustration. Ugh! Why wouldn't any pony listen to me? Anyway, I didn't have time for pranking, so I went to go find Twilight, thus disobeying a direct order from Rainbow Dash. That wouldn't have any repercussions later on, would it? Nah. So anyway, I left there and went back to looking for the library, wondering how much further I would have to go and still be deep in thought. In fact, I was so deep in thought that I walked right past it, not noticing. Okay, so I put the Pinkie caboose into reverse and went back to the Treeberry door. It's actually called Books and Branches, in case you didn't know. Yay, I was finally here! I knocked on the door. No, not using my head. I used the hoof. A short while later, the door opened. "Oh, hey, Pinkie," Spike said. And wow, he was so adorable in real life. I just wanted to pinch his little cheeks, but I didn't have fingers, so I probably just have ended up squishing his face between my hooves or something.
"Hey, Spiky,"
I said.
"Is Twilight in? I really need to talk to her right away."
"Well, yeah, she's in," Spike said. "But she's in the middle of a big research project for Princess Celestia."
"Well, this is super important. Like, really important."
"Oh, really?" Spike asked, looking doubtful and slightly defiant. "How important exactly?" Oh no, I'd gone through too much today to be stopped by a pint-sized draconic doorman, so no matter how squishy-wishy his cheeks were, I leaned down and stared him straight in the eye, focusing all the intensity I could into my gaze.
It is incredibly super important,
I said, trying to put the unstoppable force of 1,000 glaciers behind my voice. It's the most super
fantastically important thing I've ever had to say to Twilight ever in my entire life.
Technically true, since I had never said anything to Twilight before. Whoa, the dragon said, obviously impressed. Okay, you can come in if it's that important. I know Twilight will want to hear it. He opened the door for me, and I went inside. Spike asked me to wait in the main area while I went to go pull out Twilight while he went to go pull Twilight Sparkle away from whatever research project she was working on. I wandered over to the books and curious to see if they actually had that messed up writing that they had in the show. It didn't take long to determine that, yup, they sure did. I looked at some of the spines, and they had that odd, almost English-looking lettering at random. I pulled a book out of the shelf and took a peek at the pages inside. I had to use my mouth, and the book tasted like dusty and mildew. Blech. I flopped the book down and opened it to a random page. Man, it was so weird. It was like I could almost read it. I glanced over to it and smirked at the odd letters. That one looked kind of like an F, and that one looked like an A. This passage I was looking at almost looked like it said, "Most powerful magic of the pre-classical era, consisting of combinations of both evocation and conjuration, using a force of almost 20 fathoms. This spell causes an effect that..." Okay, so I could read Equestrian. No need to panic, though, right? It was probably magic or something, and I don't have to explain anything, right? That's right, I just said anything. That's a word now. Deal with it. My panicky thoughts were interrupted by a grouchy unicorn clopping down the stairs. Twilight Sparkle herself entered the scene. My inner fanboy was doing somersaults. She was so cute for words.
Okay, Pinkie,
Twilight said, all crabby-like.
This had better be good. What do you need? Twilight, I can read this,
I said, the fear making my voice shake a little as I pointed to the book. She glanced at the book and frowned up at me. Then when I noticed that Twilight Sparkle was actually a little bit shorter than I was, which seemed really weird for some reason.
I don't see why not, Pinkie. It's not that advanced of a book. No, I mean...
I shook my head. I knew that now was not the time to go off on a tangent. I was finally there. I could finally get some answers, but only if I convinced the grumpy librarian that I wasn't really Pinkie Pie.
Okay, Twilight Sparkle, brace yourself because this one is a doozy,
I told her. Twilight's eyes widened, probably remembered the last time her friend had told her about a doozy, and she almost gotten eaten up by a hydra. Her annoyance fell away as she realized that I was serious. Something really big was up.
Okay, Pinkie, I'm listening. What's wrong? That's just it, Twilight,
I said, then braced myself and said,
I'm not actually Pinkie Pie.
Again was the deafening silence. Yep, Twilight just stared at me, completely non-posed for a few seconds. You sure look like Pinkie Pie, she said, finally. What are you, a changeling or something? Ooh, I had forgotten about the changelings.
Nope, I'm an alien.
Another long pause, followed by a flat... What? Whoa, an alien, Spike said, overawed. That really is big.
Well, technically I'm an alien in Pinkie Pie's body. I somehow got zapped into her head earlier today, and now I'm really hoping you can get me back home.
Twilight's confusion slowly drained away, revealing the annoyance that was hiding just out of thought that this whole time. Pinkie, that's ridiculous, she said with obvious strained patience. I have a lot of work to do. I don't have time for jokes.
It's no joke, Twilight,
I said desperately.
If it were a joke, I'd be laughing. And I'm not, because it's not funny. Help me, Twilight Sparkle. You're my only hope.
Then I realized that I had just inadvertently quoted Star Wars and had hoped to choke back a laugh. Great timing, huh? Yeah, Twilight said, eyes narrowing. Really funny, Pinkie Pie. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to work.
No!
I yelled frantically.
Listen, I know this sounds like a typical Pinkie Pie thing, but I'm telling you the honest truth. I'm actually a human from a whole another world. I was out shopping for light bulbs, and then I was Pinkie Pie. Please, Twilight, at least consider that I might be telling the truth.
I turned the full power of the soulful, baby blue eyes on the librarian unicorn, and I saw Twilight's reluctance to believe me waver, then start to fade. Okay, let's say I believe you, she said, looking doubtful, but willing to give me a chance. How did you get here in the first place?
Well, okay, what happened was I started saying...
Oops.
Well, okay, what happened was...
I started saying, and then we were interrupted by, in the worst possible way, by a Pegasus flying through the window while wearing a cheesy, shiny gray lycra costume. She was also wearing a goofy rubber mask with big fake Google eyes and a headband sporting a pair of antennae that bobbled around on her head. Oh, there you are, Rainbow Dash said to me. Are you ready to get started on that alien prank? I was quite literally at a complete loss for words. I gaped dumbly at the rainbow Pegasus of doom, destroyer of all hope, while the silly antenna on her head bobbled around absurdly. They had stars on the tips, I noticed. If you are quite finished, Twilight said icidly, I have a lot of work to do. You can see yourselves out. With that, my only hope of returning home turned and trotted up the stairs. What's her problem? Rainbow Dash asked me, turning her head towards me and smacking me in the eye with her antenna. Okay, the little voice in my head piped up. If you want to have a freak out, now would be a good time. So that's what I did. Well, it turns out that I have time for... it turns out that all I have time for right now is... Fuck, I keep saying that wrong. Well, it turns out that all I have time for right now, it's bedtime. I'll have to continue the story later.